Welcome to Uncomfortable, conversations about culture and Christianity. My name is Eric, and today I'm joined by Jess.
Hello, world.
And Alex.
Happy Lazy Mom's Day.
No, you're back at it. You're back on the calendar.
Those are two words that never go in a sentence.
Today
is that
is
really how you want to start this podcast,
today
Alex?
Is National Lazy Mom's Day. Hold on. Give me a moment. It's not meant to celebrate lazy moms, but to encourage hardworking moms to take time for themselves. Yes, we
and
know
to
the
also
old
trigger
saying, a
them to
mother's
get
work
angry at
is
you.
never finished. But just pause momentarily. If you're a mom, you owe it to yourself to have one day of peace and solitude.
Yeah, how about we call it restful
So if we
Mom's Day and
if
not
we
lazy.
get some peace and solitude, that's considered lazy. Interesting culture.
I'm just telling you.
Interesting.
That's the
Interesting. Moms, I got your back.
Yeah, that's just the
I think we should
national
change
day.
the day. Pick a different one.
I didn't
What
start.
was yesterday?
Well, it's also today is this one you might like better, Jess. National Shrink Day.
Okay.
That's today.
Isn't
And
that like an
also-
offensive slur to therapists?
I don't know.
I've
To call you a shrink?
never been called that.
That's
and
more of
National
like a
Cheese Pizza Day.
psychiatrist, I guess.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's more
I thought the most uncomfortable of them all, though, was National Lazy Mom's Day. So
I mean, that was brave of you to say that. We sit pretty close.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Just trying to
I
get some
thought you were going to
spice
say
on the
something about
podcast.
your joy about the Huskers winning. I just
They
can't
did.
believe that
Yeah, why
trumped
weren't you
that.
talking about your joy
They did
about
get
the
a
Huskers winning?
W. They got it.
So congratulations.
I was so happy. So happy.
All right.
Well, I'm glad you found your calendar again, because it's been a while since we've had a day that was completely meaningless that you shared with us. So that's good.
Yeah.
Like, you could probably find a calendar of any type of day you wanted. I don't know that there's any of them are actually observed.
I'll be honest, I don't think I had ever thought I would actually stumble across National Lazy Mom's Day. though.
Okay. Yeah.
I
that's
hope you
true.
regret it.
We're starting off spicy today, everyone. It's good to be here. It's just the three of us. We don't have a guest, but today we are talking about something that's been dominating my social media feed. I don't know about you two. I mean, I guess I do know because
Yes.
there's some text threads going on where we've been talking about this. But really, we're kind of talking about the idea of parody and mockery and joking and miracles and all these things that are lumped into this conversation that we can really give credit to Forrest Frank. If you live under a rock, you're not familiar with Forrest Frank.
You should be standing on a rock.
You should be standing on it instead of living under it. Good point. Someone called Forrest Frank a Christian rapper. Told me that to me once,
Christian rapper.
and I went. It just felt gross. So I was like, I don't know if that's accurate. Like, I know he kind of does some what
Maybe
you
like
might
with
call
the
light
cadences.
rapping
Yeah.
in his music, but I would say he's a Christian artist.
Yeah.
And he gained a lot of notoriety on social media, got really popular over the years, and now it's been kind of his summer, really. He experienced a pretty serious back injury, fell off of a skateboard at his home onto kind of like the corner of a sidewalk, and broke his back, or at least fractured
a couple vertebrae.
in his back. Had x-rays to prove it and everything, and there were a couple weeks there where he was laid up in bed and he wrote a song, and recorded it, released it from his bed while he was laid up. And then I know there was a moment when another artist, which was it Taryn? Taryn Wills.
Okay,
I think
Windows.
they had at one of his concerts that had prayed for Forrest, asked the attendees at the concert to pray for him, and it wasn't long after that he reported back on social media that he had been healed from this back injury, and he was up and moving and picking his kids up. And yeah, there was that collaboration with the artist, the Figs, which even their video originally almost seemed like they were kind of poking fun at Forrest Frank a little bit. It wasn't completely serious. It was like, his music is very formulaic, and this is how you write a Forrest Frank song. And but then it ended up turning into like a big hit, and Lemonade was all over the place. Not actually the beverage, but the song.
The song that came out of the...
So I don't know. I'm trying to recap it quickly because I feel like if you haven't heard anything about this, it's not going to make a lot of sense either way. But what did we leave out there?
Yeah, I mean, if you have not heard the name Forrest Frank, you've probably, if you've been on Instagram or something like that, I mean, you've heard his songs. I mean, especially on Instagram, even non-Christians, like they're just some of those trending sounds all the time. That
If you've been in
people
the atrium at CCC,
yeah, I've been in the atrium.
you've heard his
Myrna
songs.
is bumping between Josiah Queen and Forrest
Every
Frank.
Sunday, Forrest Frank, I hear him just walking around outside the worship center. So.
Yeah, I was even at the gym the other day, and I think they just kind of play one of those paid for satellite services, and I've heard it's not like a Christian type of music that you're usually hearing. This is no Hobby Lobby, but they were playing or Shields
Or Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, but and I even heard Forrest Frank on there. So yeah, he's kind of transcending.
Yeah.
And been on the top of a lot of charts,
Yeah.
like passing secular artists. And anyway, cool stuff.
Yeah, so really, I think where the point of what we're talking about today is the way that other Christian artists kind of reacted to this. So he had a couple hit songs from his bed because of an injury and a healing. And then, kind of the peanut gallery showed up and started, making some jokes. But I think it wasn't until it got more popular when David Crowder broke his leg. And then I think a lot of people were commenting on that video, hey, you need to do a collab with Forrest. And so then that happened. And then I think at that point we kind of hit this like peak where people kind of felt like, oh, this is maybe kind of a celebratory moment now where it's like, Forrest is kind of this symbol of healing. And, if you got hurt, just to make the best of it. And so then people started to parody it and make jokes about it and kind of ride the bandwagon. It didn't really get pointed out by Forrest until Cory Asbury, who famously wrote the song Reckless Love, made a parody song, claiming kind of that, that his injury of having a vasectomy was equal to
It
Forrest.
definitely was after a vasectomy, yes.
And so he released the song. I think it was called Snip Snip Season or something like that. Anyways, Cory's been posting some stuff that a lot of people would probably call kind of cringe-worthy content for a while. Yeah, he likes, he kind of uses social media in a way to just showcase at least what he believes is his comedic outlet, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, this song came out. Forrest saw it and kind of pointed out that a lot of artists have been doing this, and it called out this one specifically, said it really did kind of hurt his feelings, that he felt like he was being made fun of for something that him and his wife had gone through that was really traumatic, and just didn't. And I think overall he handled that video graciously, and then Cory responded very graciously, and they're kind of working on a song together. But I think in all of that, I think some people think maybe he missed the mark a little bit too. Like it was a joke. It was just a parody, and how do we draw the lines? And then especially when you go a layer deeper with Christianity, like how should Christians present themselves in these situations?
Yeah. And I think, honestly, another part of this is if this wasn't all on social media, and Forrest talked about like he just sensed God tell him like, just document everything over this next season. And so he's like, I'm just doing that. And if it wasn't that, if there wasn't like x-rays with his back being broken and a video of him literally falling off the skateboard and like the pain he was in and some of the videos he posted while like his wife was trying to like lift him up and just the excruciating pain, like it would be difficult to believe.
Yeah.
Especially in a world of, social media and do anything for clicks. Like I'm rooting for the guy, but it'd be difficult to believe without all of that just because, and then he was healed. Like he's at a concert.
There's still people who maybe don't believe
for sure.
it.
I think it's all...
Even with what's been documented.
Yeah.
And even the concert where everyone prayed for him is documented.
Yeah. 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 So there's a lot there. I think I don't know. What's your, maybe before we get too far into it, what's your initial reaction to it? How did you guys, when you first saw the Cory Asbury video? And I mean, this is a very well-known Christian artist, and he's, kind I mean, we could read the lyrics. Would you like me to read some of the lyrics?
Yeah, because I think Jess originally sent this to both of us in a text.
Was I your first? The one
I had seen it before you
Okay.
sent it, but yeah.
Yeah, I had seen it first, and I had seen other people post videos, and I think David Crowder had already at that point written a song about that.
Standing on the Rock.
Yes. But this, I was like, this is a Christian artist, and I just felt like even some of the lyrics in the song that he was making to just have satire and even make fun of a vasectomy, I'm like, dang, that's like pretty sexual innuendos. Like, I don't know. I mean,
I think you should read some of it.
okay,
Eric.
that's
I think
fine.
just
And
for people
obviously,
to-
like,
let
I'm a
people at
girl.
home
I haven't had a
He
vasectomy.
did remove it since, so
Yeah,
I
he
think
did take it down. So you're gonna
Yes,
it's gonna
there's
be
been back and
difficult
forth between them, but
to find it. Snip snip season. I'm gonna read this. I'm not gonna give any melody. Just
Okay.
gonna try to read it as dry as possible. I think that's better. Snip snip season, but we stay winning souls.
okay. So at this point, I'm like, what the
what is
heck?
season?
No, I'm just like already at this point. I'm like, it's snip snip season. What's happening with this Christian artist? Like, I'm shocked already.
Okay. I'm good for this play by play here. Spread the gospel, not my seed.
Okay, and I'm thinking, why are we talking about sperm? Okay. I'm not going to go back and forth, but like, this is like
Well,
where
you
I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, as a mom, as a Christian,
And he's laying in bed.
I'm shook.
He is laying in
He's
bed.
laying in bed. Like all of them had kind of done that, parodying it.
Grace runs deeper than my jeans.
Yikes. This is where I sent it to both of
Jeans.
you.
Like
How is that? Which genes? Can you spell that for us?
At this-
G-E-N-E-S. Did you hear that as J-E-A-N-S?
No.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I just heard deeper.
I was like, we got a whole American Eagles issue on our hands here. Next, we're going to be talking about the Cracker Barrel logo. All right. Ain't about my legacy. Kingdom comes, still guaranteed. Snip, snip, like we cutting a ribbon. Ain't no grand opening, but it's just the beginning. Let the block close up shop, but my loins stay winning. Fruit of the Spirit, that's what I'm living. They can't take my seed, but they can take my seed, but they can't take my song. No swimmers in the pool, but he's still on the throne. No legacy or biology, but eternity still on top of me.
I'm like, do we need to
Daddy's
keep
DNA.
reading it? Okay.
That's my only theology.
We did it.
We got through
Just,
it. That's
so
it.
then now give us the final rundown.
I just don't think, what'd you say?
the final rundown.
I just do not think that is appropriate to say. Like, I just thought it was really, like, even like, okay, to me at this point, like someone sexualizing something and then just like it being like, sure, lots of people get vasectomies, but then to sexualize it and then to use like specific words that I think could be innuendos. Like when you're saying like, we're different.
I think maybe though that you're reading into it even maybe more than his intentions.
but that's what these things let happen, right?
Because
So
it's
it's
not,
like,
to me, I don't read this and think any of it's sexual. That's what
I don't.
It doesn't sound
Yeah.
sexualized to me at all.
when
So
you're
that's-
saying like, when you're talking about a vasectomy and like spreading your seed and those
he's
types of
saying
things, like
not spread the gospel, not my seed. I see. That's what I think
okay,
it's
right. So that makes it better. Do you see what I mean? Like,
I get what you're saying, but I'm wondering like if
You think I'm, like, being too
all
prude
I'm
about
trying
it?
to point out is I think
is this my
people-
purity culture getting
This
triggered?
is your purity culture.
It is. It's-
I just think when people come at it from different perspectives, that's just the way this works,
Yeah.
right? Like you're gonna hear
And-
what you hear.
Right. And I do think that when I sent it to you guys, like we all kind of had different reactions. Cause I remember sending it, I'm like, is this, is it just me or is this totally cringy? And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you guys, but that was just like, we all kind of like came at it from different directions. And maybe that was really validating for people that have had vasectomies.
Well, I think another artist had done it before, but he was Matthew West, and he
Yeah.
was laying in his bed, and he got bit by a
Bee sting on his
Stung
pinky.
by a
yeah.
bee.
yeah. and he wrote like one called Honey or something.
And that wasn't even true. He was
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
he
yeah.
was just thinking like, what's funny? Like, where's a funny place a bee could sting you? It's on your pinky.
Yeah.
And like people liked the song and thought it was fun, but Forrest reached out to him, said it was hurtful, and Matthew took it down. So I don't know. I just struggle.
What do you guys think about it?
I don't know. Alex, go ahead. Maybe you go
I
ahead.
think the difficult like paradox maybe in all of it is there was clearly the Figs, and they've done this before.
Right.
Kind of are making fun of artists, and basically anybody can make this person's song because all you got to do is have this kind of beat. You just got to have catchy random lyric. I mean, they did this whole video about it, and he found that funny, and then created a song that just went crazy. And so then you have that, which is, I would say, making fun of him. Like it's a parody. And they kind of blew up through that. And so then you have these other artists like a David Crowder then who isn't making fun of him, but they kind of collaborate. So then it kind of feels like, oh, this guy has a sense of humor. Like he'll laugh about it. He'll joke about it. So then when you're maybe Matthew West and you're Cory Asbury and you put these songs out, then you're kind of like, okay, so why was one bad? Like, why was one mockery and the other one maybe considered more satire? And so how do we balance that? And I think that's a big question that begs to be, answered from just the Christian world, because and that line can sometimes be really, really blurry.
I think from my perspective, I think Forrest Frank is immature. I think he's a young guy, and he presents himself as very mature, and he has some good takes, and he's got his heart in the right place a lot of times. But I think that for him to be reaching out to artists who, especially something like Matthew West singing about a bee sting and then being like, hey, this is really offensive. Can you take this down? Like, it just shows his maturity level isn't there yet. Like, it's just that you can't handle this type of satire when you're already kind of like riding a wave. I was someone as a kid, I was bullied my whole existence. I didn't experience a day in public school without being picked on, without being made fun of, without being called names.
I'm so sorry. I'm not laughing at
terrible.
you.
I'm so sorry, Aaron. Like, I'm like about to cry.
Alex thinks it's hilarious, though.
I do not. Sorry, we used to have a resident named A Day.
Okay.
And when you were just like, I didn't experience a day in school.
You can't do this every episode. People have to be able to say a day. Okay? We can't. Alex, this is your intervention live on the internet.
This is it.
People have to be able to say the two words "a" and "day" without.
We knew
you
this was
thinking
off on the wrong
resident.
foot when he chose that holiday.
Yeah.
And then the wheels fell off.
Okay. Back to, all right, sorry. I apologize.
didn't go a
I'm
day.
Yes.
All right? I can say it. It's okay. Anyways, wow, I'm trying to recover.
I'm trying to like fan him.
It's going to be all right, Alex. No, but I as a kid, I got bullied all the time. And eventually I learned that I just had to roll with those punches and sometimes be the one to make fun of myself before somebody else did. And it would just take the oxygen out of the bullies, right? Like that skill of being able to leverage what these people are saying about you is much better than being like, no, I'm the police over what's funny and what's not. Like, for him to take the position of comedy czar on the internet and like, this is funny, but this isn't funny. You're not allowed to say that, but this is okay. It just isn't going to last long. You're going to run into too much gray area there, and you're not going to be able to keep policing that.
Where do you stand up for yourself? Like, where's the line though? Because like, I even think about like, if I like you being bullied, and I'm not trying to like push back on that because that was your experience, but I'm like, part of me wants to be like, I wish that there was somebody that came and defended you, or like that you didn't have to be in a spot where it was like,
yeah, but that's not real world. That's not reality. There's not going to be someone there to defend you. Like, that's just, there are sometimes, and then sometimes there's not.
well, I'm sorry there wasn't.
that is reality though. That's not something that anyone could have. There are times when you're just not, you know what I mean? There isn't an adult there. And when you're a kid, and that's stuff. But I just think there is when it comes to comedy and when it comes to things that are parody and people are just having fun with that, like some people are gonna be offended at it, but I don't think Forrest Frank gets to be the one who decides that. And it feels like a lot of this, even when I heard Matthew West talk about it, it sounded like Forrest is deciding what's okay and what's not okay. And at the end of the day, yeah, you can say this offends me, and if I'm agree to go, oh yeah, that offends you, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, and you have that kind of mature conversation and you decide to take your video down, like great, I'm glad it worked out that way. But I just don't think that, yeah, the person, I mean, he's being celebrated more than he is being made fun of. But I think it's when when these stories start coming out, and it sounds like he's policing what people get to say about him. That's where I'm like, he's gonna get some kind of negative feedback.
Are you saying
public.
your issue is just so I understand? Because I think I see what you're saying. Like, because Cory Asbury didn't specifically say anything about Forrest, like it was his own video.
Yeah,
and that should have been okay because he did not. It wasn't like he was like saying anything about Forrest or like making fun of him or like
he wasn't directly.
Maybe we could
Obviously, you can make that connection. Obviously, to anyone watching it, they go, "Yeah, he's making light of a situation that happened." But I do think, I mean, at some point, I think even Matthew West said this in his reaction to it, was we kind of felt like, oh, after the David Crowder thing where his leg was broken, they made us. This is like a celebratory thing. We're all having fun. We're all just having a good time now. And for it to take this super somber, serious turn where it's like, no, this was like the most traumatic time in my life, and you shouldn't do that. That's totally valid. He's right. Like Forrest is right to say that, but I just don't know. It just felt like an overcorrect to me. But I also just think Christians in general it's some of the most challenging groups of people when it comes to humor or comedy or parody or any of that, because everybody has such strict lines and barriers of, oh, this is funny and this is not funny.
And I think too, when you talk about policing it, we all kind of have our own things that we police. Like, this is okay for me, or like, I think some satire is hilarious. Like I have cried laughing over some things, and then so we kind of like all police differently too.
I think, one of the things that for me would probably be more triggering in it is he did talk about, like, you took one of the most traumatic things in my life and are just laughing about it. And I think maybe Matthew West was the one who said, maybe artists, like he joked, artists need to, a traumatic injury if they want their numbers to spike. And so it was kind of maybe insinuating, and maybe that's probably where again, this is me just assuming, like, if I'm Forrest, this is what I'm feeling is like, okay, you're basically either calling that a lie, like that I just made up an injury just so my numbers would spike. And now you're just saying, oh, I'm just becoming popular because of this, and not giving, glory to God, of which I think he's done a good job of. But I think what's interesting about all of it is it's something that at least is displayed for Christians that aren't good at this. Like, we can have these kinds of conversations, and it's a display for, okay, how do we handle it?
Yeah.
How do we go to, Matthew 18? How do we go to a brother or a sister who's wronged us and hurt us? And how do we say that? How does Cory respond? Like, I think that even if Forrest is immature, then you can, and oftentimes what I probably want to do is answer immaturity with immaturity.
Yeah, for sure.
And then say, well, and so I think that's
I agree.
tough too.
I think they both, like, all things considered, both parties involved handled it well. They kind of, owned up to their part of it publicly. I just think that I like Forrest Frank. I think I think what he's doing for Christian music is cool. I think it's great for like young people to have someone to look up to that is in this space that's making a positive impact in the world. I'm not like trying to badmouth Forrest Frank. I just think that there's just certain personality types that are a little more serious than other people. And I think that's sometimes like certain people are just like, oh, I'm very serious. This is very serious. I am not that type of person. I can empathize with Cory. And when I heard his story, I'm like, I'm there with you. Like the way I dealt with things my whole life was through humor. That's how I deflected things. That's how I avoided my feelings a lot of times. That's just how I coped. So I completely understood his perspective. That felt real to me. And so I get that. But I think that when I say someone's immature, I don't mean that word could mean a lot of things, right? But I think Forrest just hasn't lived a lot of life yet, you know, and what life he has lived has been pretty good, I think. And when people don't face a lot of adversity, they don't quite get that tough skin to where sometimes that's how we deal with stuff, you know, and not everyone deals with. Some people are just serious and they aren't going to deal with, you know, tragedy and bad things with comedy. That's not how they're going to deal with it. And that's okay. But I just don't think that's for him to decide. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Especially with that point of irony of which do you pick? You know, you did it with one thing. I think it made people feel like, oh, the lemonade thing. Okay. He's got a sense of humor and all that. But I do think his response allowed for, I think, maybe a lot of people to understand Cory Asbury in a way they hadn't. You know, he, like you were saying, I think if Forrest doesn't call that out or, you know, say something, then, I mean, Cory, like he's mentioned, I think he's been hurt a lot by Christians. I mean, Cory Asbury came out with Reckless Love, which to me was just a powerful song. It's one of those songs that every time I hear it, like it just reminds me of God's love. But there are a lot of Christians still today that just dump on that song. It's terrible theology, using the word reckless. God's never reckless, like that have just taken something that I think he meant in a meaningful way with the best intentions. And a lot of churches love it and they still sing it even today, obviously. But it was one of those songs that like people drew hard lines in the sand over.
For sure.
Like if your church sings this, I will never go. Like I literally heard people say like that kind of stuff. And so I think from a lot of Christians, he's been hurt. And so it was able for him to expose kind of what you said, Eric. Like I've been through a lot. There's a lot of hurts and pains inside of me. And this is how I respond. And so I think that's been, you know, part of what that beautiful example and the ongoing dialogue is. And I'm excited to hear the song that they come out with because it seems like there's a lot of emotive pain that like it seems out of all the songs kind of like one of the most deep introspective. Like the others have been poppy and exciting.
Well, I had mentioned too, like when I was at the Iowa State Fair recently, I saw Forrest perform, and it was cool to see how much of a heart he had for family. Like he definitely was noticing that he mentioned he didn't want to tour. That wasn't really his thing. He wanted to just create music, and then touring became a part of that and doing these concerts. And he's just noticed this, kind of just so many families being there, parents with their little kids are at his concerts. And he was just acknowledging how cool that was. And that he felt like a great responsibility on his back to, you know, make sure that he was someone who was being accountable to what influence he had. And so overall, I do think that he's a great guy. He's doing really great things. This situation specifically feels just, you know, I think we're going to all land a little differently on it, and that's probably okay. But, Alex, are there either of you, are there other examples of this, or that help you unpack this or help you look at this differently, or maybe help you make sense of it all?
I'm still thinking back to the context of things, because I think that Forrest, and I'm not trying to like get off, but like the context of Cory Asbury and the song, we understand where he's coming from because he was called out, and we understand the context, and we understand like what was happening in him, and we would not have known unless that had happened. And then also that we had taken time to like listen and learn. And then at the same time, Forrest Frank, if he hadn't documented and stayed in context, and we didn't know the context of what he was going through, Lemonade would not have been as great of a song. And so I think like the context matters.
Yeah.
And I think understanding, I guess maybe the difference between mockery and satire is helpful. It's something I honestly never thought about. And so like satire defined as humor or parody, exaggeration of a point that points out flaws or hypocrisy with the potential to invite reflection or correction, and mockery is humor at someone's expense, intended to belittle or wound. The tough thing for me is like, it's hard to know someone's heart behind that, right? Like, I think even the lemonade thing, for example, like that's what Forrest does.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if they were if it was just funny because they're trying to get some, like, people tag everybody all the time. Everybody's like kind of reaching for clout on the internet. Like, we've even, how we've been doing stuff like at different times on our social media is like, we've done like a Sundays out of context or taking worship songs literally. Like one of our biggest, most viral things on TikTok and even on Instagram was like taking worship songs literally. One of a college student at the time like was like, it is just so funny. We should go take this song. What song was it?
What was it? The King of...
Oh, it's when I know what the lyrics are. When I fight on my knees.
Yeah. Battle belongs to you.
Yeah.
And like that song, like it just took off like more than any of us would have expected. And it was a parody. It was just so funny, like
we
serious.
Kept tagging Phil Wickham and he was not having
would just
it.
Not like,
you guys
and
did
everybody
a good job
was
on
like
that.
a lot of people were tagging him and other places were reposting it and just thinking it was hilarious.
But it might have been the same situation there where
Yeah.
he's like, you're making fun of my song. It's
Yeah.
like this powerful worship song and you guys are making a joke about it. And
Yeah.
maybe that's part of the reason that we didn't hear a response from, I think even Sundays Out of Context, that was something that we had this idea for and we kind of played with it on TikTok and it had some success. But like when the idea came to us, I remember going to talk to Mark Ashton about it before we even posted the first one. I had an example to show him. And, I said, well, I was like, I think you have thick skin that you can take this, but this is kind of an idea we have to kind of maybe engage people on a different level. It's kind of funny. And we're just taking different clips of things you say and using them out of context. And he watched it and he laughed. And he pretty much said to me, I'm okay as long as we're not making fun of Jesus. Like you can make fun of me all day, but as long as we don't make fun of Jesus. And that was one of the moments where it just was I saw Mark's leadership in a different light. I'm like, there's a lot of pastors who would not be okay with that because they take themselves too seriously. And so again, that was just an example of, yes, like as a person, we can't take things too super seriously all the time because you're just going to run out of fuel in your tank for taking things seriously. And so I've kind of held to that in my own personal life. It's like, as long as you're not making fun of Jesus, like we can laugh, we can have fun, we can make jokes and it's okay. But
good. And I think it and we've done the same thing even with like other leaders, that have spoken from the stage and
we maybe
things
don't
like
get
that.
their permission as
Not
much.
always, but
We never asked your permission when we did.
it's true. I think the thing is Mark like secretly enjoyed it. I think he would try to like find things that would be so random and end up in Sundays Out of Context, and so his kids would send it to him and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of funny. But it's a tough thing to. You've got places like what's the kind of meme satire Babylon B, and all those kinds of satire things, and there's things I read on Babylon B. I'm like, that's pretty funny, and then there are things I'm like,
ooh,
yeah, that's maybe crossing the line, especially because there's I think a whole generation of people out there that doesn't understand satire, like The Onion, Babylon B. There's people that share that like it's real news.
Yeah,
like I remember like one of the first ones I ever saw from Babylon B was like a church putting in a water slide for baptisms. And I remember like people rebuking it and like posting
thinking it was
this
real
and,
too.
like thinking it was real and like rebuking the church and doing all this kind of stuff. And that's the difficult thing is especially, I mean, none of this I don't think falls into that category. I think everybody knows maybe unless you're a really old person that loves to watch Cory Asbury and you thought that it was real, which it was real. I guess he really did get a vasectomy. But I think that's the tough thing too, is people having context for it. And like, if I read it knowing it's satire versus me thinking it's serious, it's going to be a whole different reaction.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of those tensions that we're going to carry. I think online, we talk a lot about that on this podcast. How do we represent ourselves? How how are people seeing us? How's the world seeing us? And I mean, honestly, this whole topic probably just hits home for me a lot because it's something I've had to wrestle with my whole life, because I just don't. I love humor. I love comedy, and I probably just, I don't always know sometimes where the line is, and other people have to graciously tell me where that line is sometimes. And so I guess I probably just empathized more with the person making the joke than I did with Forrest. But I think as we consider that in our day-to-day lives, like, has anything of this made you think about what you post or how you share things or how you represent Christ online? Or is it kind of like, it doesn't really change for me? Because I don't think people don't consider the impact that they're having.
Yeah.
They don't consider the reach that social media has. And
Yeah, I think one of the things I've just learned, and I've actually been like trying to share more of my thoughts over probably this summer on like Facebook, kind of blog style, and just things that I'm experiencing. And one of the things I've realized is there's some people that no matter what you say are going to read something into it. Like read something, like they just can't read something without a layer of partisanism or politics. Like, and I have my own blinders, my own biases that I will read something with, or, I'll think someone's subtweeting or whatever. And so it's just so difficult to not overread into those things. But I think one of the things that he also talked about was like social media doesn't have a seatbelt. I think that's one of the things that Forrest Frank said. And man, I've learned that. Like, I've learned when you have something that goes out on the internet, or you preach a message, or you do something that you don't know the reaction until sometimes it hits somebody, and then you find out that was hurtful or damaging. Or, I a few weeks ago did a run through of a sermon, trying to get feedback from people, and one of the jokes I was going to make was about the Coldplay incident that happened over the summer, where a CEO got caught in an affair because of the kiss cam.
yeah,
And so like I was going to make that joke, and I was grateful that I had every intention of making that joke on a Sunday morning service. But then one of the people that was listening was like, yeah, that's for people that have been on the other side of that, like people that have had a spouse that's been unfaithful. That is going to be like, you're meaning it as a joke and everyone's laughing about it right now, but that's really painful for those that have been on the other side of it. And I couldn't even, I'm like, internally, I'm like, that's silly. Like this is, they deserve it. They got exposed, all this kind of stuff. And so I'm just grateful to have also people that you,
how do you balance that sensitivity though, too? Because like, I mean, sometimes maybe you have a great sermon illustration.
Yeah.
And like, can we always, at what point is that just kind of like demoralizing to try to consider everybody's thing?
Yeah.
Like I'm just asking that question because that's got to be really tough too, to manage that. Like, at what point do we have to try to think about every circumstance in this room, especially in a church of this size? Like, what are you doing at that point? Do you have those illustrations? Do you not? Do you just, I don't know.
I think you can't do it. And that's like, for me, I'm asking people I trust to give me feedback. And if I'm asking the people that I trust to give me feedback, I need to trust them.
Yeah.
And that's a part of it. Like, I'll run some of that stuff through my wife, even though I don't, like, through my wife or people I trust. And even if I don't agree, I have to realize I would rather make the error on this side.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm doing it. But yeah, I've also said a lot of things that have probably gotten me in trouble that I still was like, I trust myself more on this. And some of it landed fine, so it's asking people you trust and bouncing those things, for me at least.
Yeah, that's good. Jess, any thoughts on that?
I guess I'm just kind of processing, and when we're talking about satire and mockery, like as I'm just even processing through it, it's like we do need to kind of stop and listen, because I think a lot of times, like when people think it, like are planning something to hit as a joke, it can come off as mockery to something else, to somebody else. And then I think the thing that's also missing here is that a lot of times when it hits deeply personal and it's not funny, it can hit on unhealed things or like deep wounds in somebody else that maybe they're dealing with that we don't know, and that, or maybe that they don't even realize, like having a reaction. Like I was just joking with you and I was trying to be funny, Alex or Eric, and it's like maybe that hit differently because there's something else going on with you. And I think that that's like also what this reveals is like, if we're using the Cory and Forrest like example, like there's something deeper going on with him, obviously, that he's working on, that like he can't take this as funny. And so then do we punish the person that is genuinely trying to be funny after we've heard the story and we've like heard everything, and it's like, okay, yes, he uses humor. So I think we kind of just have to take it with maturity.
Yeah.
And think through things and listen. And then I think too, when we're going to get into these conversations with people, it's like, then I need to stop and listen to your point of view. If I want to hear it, then I have to also trust it and trust that like you do use humor and to see that point of view. And I think that that's where we kind of clash together. And like, there's a lot of arguments, but like, for me, that's the space that I want to try to work on and listen to, of like, okay, if something hits me the wrong way, I want to hear your point of view and grow from that, and not just stay, I don't want to say like stuck in the mud, but maybe that's it, of like, I want to be able to move and see things differently. And I think that that's where growth is, and where if we're interacting with satire or something that rubs us the wrong way, that we don't think is funny or was meant a certain way, like we need to interact with that.
Yeah.
And to be able to listen to someone else's point of view.
And the youth ministry, like former youth pastor part of me, is like anytime, especially something's in culture that you know kids are watching, I think as parents, we always have an opportunity to use this as like a point of reference and a point of dialogue, and ask our kids what do they think about like how's this playing out, and how do you see about somebody confronting something head on, and how do you like, I think there's some healthy conversation and dialogue that it's bringing, especially knowing mostly, like you said, Eric, Forrest's like fans are a younger generation of people. And so hopefully it's bringing a lot of people opportunity at the end of the day to have these conversations. And if you're a parent listening to this and you've got, kids, they've probably, especially if they're on social media, they know what's happening here. So use it as a point to talk about it and dialogue about, when jokes are and aren't funny. Like I have to work on that with my 12-year-old all the time. He thinks, some jokes to his sisters are just not appropriate, and I'm like, you got to have the right place, the right time, a lot of these things. And how do you have those difficult conversations, call people out? How do you have grace both ways, and how do you mature?
But I think comedy is just subjective. It's like art.
It is
it's art. And some people are going to find things funny that others aren't. And I think that's kind of why I fall kind of in the camp of there's very few, if any, good Christian comedians out there, because to be a good Christian comedian, you have to placate to the lowest common denominator, or people aren't going to support you because they'll say you're not Christian, and they'll say all these things about you. And so it's really tough to even do that. And I think, I don't know, I think we could all, that we had the series not that long ago, Unoffendable. And I think it's just, not to just point to that, but I think there's a lot of truth in that, and not getting offended at everything all the time. It doesn't do you good. It doesn't do the other people good. I think having healthy conversations, and that's cool that we've seen this maybe on display on social media in a way that's better than what could have been. But I don't know. I would really hope people take a moment and go, what's really upsetting me about this? Am I hearing it a certain way? Is it my own history? Is it my own experiences that cause me to be offended by this? Or is it actually something that is deplorable and shouldn't be said?
And I don't know if we can answer the question, but it's also like, how can we not take ourselves so seriously? Because I think a lot of times, like, as we have come out of, even some of the more recent podcasts we've had, it's like we're coming out of like, these are the rules and this is how you do things and these are your expectations. And it's a lot of fun to laugh. I like have cried laughing watching even some of the Sundays Out of Context, because it's just so great and it's so creative, and we just see like even the talents of our staff are amazing. But it's like, I don't know, like that's hard to do. Like, how do we do that better or more? I think it's like, how do we take ourselves less seriously is also part of it, where like it's okay to laugh, like it's okay to like for us to give Alex a hard time when he says and for him to
Okay.
say like it's a lazy mom holiday. Or,
It's okay to laugh, except for every time someone says a day. Okay, can we just make that clear?
When Eric is sharing of a hard time in his life.
Yeah, and then that's
But how do you know what I mean? Like that's part of this is us like I don't know, like being okay or like taking a joke and knowing that like sometimes that's how people show that they love us.
Yeah.
That's how Alex loves us, right?
sure.
Don't we know it?
I'll choose to believe that today.
I'm just saying it so it feels more real.
Yeah. All right.
I love you guys.
Oh, that's so sweet. Any parting thoughts? Did we cover it all? I guess be less offended.
I'm gonna find the lazy dad holiday. That's my
Okay,
next to-do list.
Let me know. I'll be there.
It's like every Sunday afternoon. It's,
Right.
all right. Well, hopefully no one got too offended or upset about this. But if you did, the hotline's
Call
open.
Alex.
Yeah.
Let us
Email
know.
Alex E at CCC. No, I'm just kidding. No, but you can reach out to us on social media on Instagram or TikTok at CCC OMA Podcast, or you can send us an email to podcast at cccomaha.org. Leave us a voicemail at 402-885-9930. We'd love to hear your cheery, happy voice there with a question for us or some sort of topic you'd like to hear us discuss. But until next time, we'll talk to you then.